And you are live.
Hey everybody, Jeff Dunham. And we are live at my house. Live, well, while we're taping it. No, we're live in Facebook Live, YouTube Live, right, Matt? Sorry, we should explain all these things to me before we start. All right, but we're in the kitchen and we just made some very special coffee. Matt gave me this coffee for Christmas. It is the most expensive coffee in the world, right, Matt?
That's right.
Yeah, and exotic and fantastic. So I just did a French press, and Jeff Rothpan is here, our friend, and we're about to pour this stuff up. So the ratio that is suggested on the package was ridiculous. It was like, what was it? 25 grams of coffee per cup? That a coffee cup is 3/4 of a cup.
The fact that you're mixing like metric and cup, my brain is already.
But it's ridiculous. Look at the amount of coffee versus the amount of water in there. Those are the coffee grounds. I just pressed it. So but that's what it said on the package. We suggest 25 grams of grounds for every 1 cup of coffee, which is 3/4 of a cup.
So forgive my ignorance. Is that mean that it's going to be super strong or is that super weak? Is that a lot of grounds or not a lot of grounds?
It's crazy strong.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But maybe it's a genius way of them selling more of the most expensive coffee on the planet.
That's why it's so expensive.
That's exactly right. All right. And by the way, Matt, come over on this side. We're not sponsored by Ember, but we could be.
Well, for those people that don't know what these cups are.
So the Ember coffee cup is this genius coffee cup that, and it's not a commercial, honest to God, I just love these things. I gave them as Christmas presents to one guy. But it's basically, you control the coffee cup with your iPhone. Where's my phone? Oh, yeah, thank you, Jeff.
Right.
I'll show you how this works. You might as well do this. Here. So I'm going to bring up the app.
It's like a smart cup.
It is a smart cup, but hold on. So EMB, there it is. Okay. So you bring this up. Oh, it's going to get really confused because 3 of these cups are going to be controlled right now. Oh, so hold on. So it's empty. All right. It's empty, empty, and empty. So let me put the coffee in. It's already hot. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, I don't want to drink. I got to give you guys some. Ah! Okay, hold on.
You got most of it.
Okay, hold on. Oh, I stole too much. All right, hold on.
That's good.
Oh, yeah, and you got
I'm good.
Okay, no, Jeff, you need more.
All right. Yeah, I do.
Matt, you need more now.
I am sleepy.
You are sleeping. All right, good. I don't know how much caffeine this has. Okay, that worked out all right. Okay, so it's empty. Not empty now. This is the color. Each coffee cup has different. Hold on, it'll change. Change the color to which one's this? Yeah, so that's mine. The pink. Wait, I don't know what it's.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, so it says it's empty, but it's not empty. Whoa. We should have checked this. It's not empty. Come on. Here are your devices. Or here are your devices. Those are all the coffee cups that we have. So I'm going to go to this one. It's that one. That one. So it's at 70-degree heaters on. Oh, look at that. 154 degrees right now. That's too high. Holy crap. So I got to let it cool down. Yeah, 154 is right off the burner. So Matt, let's go to yours. Yours is the black one?
Yeah.
It'll be the same temperature. Yours is the black one. Okay. And it should be at, it's not empty. Hello?
Oh, it did. 153 degrees. It just popped up.
Oh, it did? 153. All right. And Jeff, you're the white one?
Yep.
Devices. And it'll be the same. We're close. So let's see the white one. Dun, 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 dun. It's registering. It's 153. But the great part about this is that now, see this down here? I have it set at 130. Jeff, I'm going to set yours at 134, buddy.
Okay.
Do you like it that high? You don't know.
I don't know.
134 to me is like the perfect
Okay.
amount. So
Okay.
Matt, what would you like yours at?
130 sounds pretty good.
This is not what the video was supposed to be.
I know, right?
All right, 134 for Matt. So it'll cool down a little bit. You'll burn your mouth.
Yeah, Rocky Vlog says rip my tongue.
Yeah, exactly. So these are way too hot right now. Yeah, all right. But I can set it at 134. I'm at least gonna. So that's the point. These coffee cups are awesome, and it lasts, depending on the temperature, probably an hour and a half.
Wow.
Hour and a half at 134, I think is about right. So, all right, we're gonna test this out.
Sure.
Oh, yeah. Now, before Rothpan tests it out, do you want to give it a little description of the coffee, maybe show the packaging or anything like that? Or
Okay, yeah, because it's really nice.
because somebody in
You know what, Jeff? Don't try it yet.
Okay.
Okay.
Putting it down.
It's
It's too hot anyway, right?
Huh?
It's too hot anyway, right?
Oh yeah, it's too hot. So
Yeah.
there it is. Those are the different ones. It's all the same things. So it's come from whatever this is. It's really exotic stuff.
whatever it is.
Right.
Yeah. So it comes from apparently from the forest where these animals are.
Yeah.
Where is that?
I don't even know what those animals
It's
are.
like the Philippines or Taiwan or something. I
Okay.
can't remember.
Yeah. But there it says 25 grams of grounds per coffee cup. All right, and that's what I did. All right. So great.
So I'll be interested if anybody knows anything about that coffee as we get to it.
Yeah. Okay. Wild Kopi. What's the name of the animal?
Oh, Shanila Parks has had this coffee apparently. Oh,
Okay.
coffee's from Madagascar, if I'm not mistaken.
Madagascar. Okay.
Yeah.
And it's what's the animal?
It's a civet.
A civet.
Yeah, that's the logo for the thing. So
Okay.
you're down to try some foreign coffee? Is that are you good? Yeah.
Wow. I don't even know what that is.
I don't know
Me
either.
either.
Yeah. I think it's kind of like a cat. It looks kind of like a lemur, but it's kind of a
We
cat-like.
want to drink it black because it's so expensive, right?
Yeah. Well, I think we just wanted to get a sense of what the taste is
Why it's so
because
great.
it's supposed to be like a very rich, like chocolatey. I think is one
That's
of the
good.
words that they
Something
use.
like
Sounds
Yeah.
pretty good.
So, yeah, go ahead and grab your thing. Jeff and I are gonna white balance over here. I'm gonna need to get a white balance.
Going that way?
Uh,
Okay, white balance?
Yeah,
Okay. Is that better?
yeah. That's yeah, great.
So the color went out. Okay.
Yeah, perfect,
Okay, good.
perfect.
All right,
Yeah.
I'm gonna have mine.
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
Yeah,
I've
all
never
right.
tasted this, Matt.
No, I have not. I bought it and thought that it would be something that you would enjoy.
Thanks. Hey, cheers.
Oh, yeah, cheers.
Happy New Year.
2019.
Yeah,
All right,
2019.
cheers.
There you go.
Oh yeah, 2019.
Ooh, that's distinct.
It's a little,
A lot of flavor. Wow. This is black.
hey, that's not bad.
Yeah,
Gamey.
little gamey.
No, it's actually not bad. And it's not, it's strong, but it's like a good strong.
That's good.
Yeah, it's like earthy.
I'm just glad it doesn't taste like crap.
A lot of flavor.
Yeah. Yeah, there's nothing worse than coffee that tastes like
Oh
crap.
yeah. Wow. It definitely has a lot of flavor.
I think So no, Rape, could you do us a favor? Actually, do you have your phone on you?
Yeah.
Just so that can you look up the name of this coffee? It just yeah,
Well, what's the name of the animal?
it's Civet CIV.
So what do you look up? Wild Kopi Luwak?
Yeah.
Okay. Later I need your Wi-Fi password. But that's all right. Later, because I keeps asking you to put it in. Wild.
You know, I think mine needs a little sugar and cream in it.
Okay.
It's a little strong.
All right, we had. Oh, look at this. And here's another commercial, but not a commercial. It's my mist cup. Look, we've showed this in so many. While he's looking this up, I'll talk about this. Okay, have you found it?
I need my glasses.
Oh, all right.
Sorry.
But Myst was the game I played in the early '90s. It was like the #1 computer game for, like years. And Cyan, I know these guys. They're still in business. They're doing some great stuff right now.
Carmen Santana had a good comment. I'll bring it up later.
Oh.
All right, what do we got?
What's
You wanna
also,
read this?
yeah, what's it
go
say?
ahead. All right.
Kopi Luwak or civet coffee is
That's it.
coffee that includes partially digested coffee cherries eaten and defecated by the Asian palm civet. Fermentation occurs as the cherries pass through a civet's intestines, and after being defecated with other fecal matter, they are collected.
With other fecal matter.
Whoa. So that's what that is?
You're drinking coffee that was pooped out
Really?
By a cat.
By a cat. So this is honestly the first time I've ever tried it.
Really?
No.
Yeah, we haven't tried it. We've been waiting.
Keep drinking, my friend.
Is this a joke?
This may be.
No, it's not a joke. It's a real thing.
Hey, where's Audrey? Hey, Audrey. Come here, sweetie. You gotta drink some of this coffee.
Oh no.
Oh,
And they charge more for this.
Yeah, hold on. Before here, let's. Audrey doesn't like anything in her coffee, so let me give her a little
Give her
bit.
some of that.
Yeah.
Pour some in it.
I forgot. Matt and I mixed ours with stuff. So let me. You like it black? Do you mind? All that's in here is almond milk. That's all that's in there. Just
Okay,
almond milk. Yeah.
alright.
So here's all. You know, Audrey knows what it is.
I don't want to try it.
You really don't?
No, I'll try it.
Rody doesn't want it.
Rody won't drink it.
It's okay.
Tastes like coffee.
Yep.
Yeah.
Does it taste like
It's
extra
actually
flavorful?
pretty good.
Kind of crappy. We already did.
somebody brought up the Crappuccino peanut joke.
that's
Yeah.
right.
Oh, yeah.
Come on, Jeff. You gotta drink it.
Oh, no.
Oh,
Oh man.
All right.
You're not gonna die.
No, it's
Not from this anyway.
No, but what's the honest assessment of the coffee? I mean, like, because you drink a lot of coffee. Like, what is the?
With the French press, it's pretty darn smooth, and it's really strong because of the 25 grams to 1 cup.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So you went that route then?
Yeah, what it said on the
Okay.
package.
That's
All right.
25 grams, yeah. So it's strong, but it's good. Yeah,
It's really good.
yeah. It's not, but honestly, Matt, after you gave it to me, I started researching it. And there were so many articles that said this is just, for stupid rich people. It's this exotic coffee. It doesn't taste any better or any worse, and it's just hype for people saying they drank coffee that was pooped out by animals. But
Okay.
it tastes
Yeah.
really good. It tastes that's probably people that don't want to buy an expensive.
Well,
I don't
how
know.
much is it? How much is it?
I don't remember.
Those 3 bags were a little over $100.
Wow.
So this
Oh my
is
gosh.
100 divided by 3
And
is
it's not a
30.
full pound. You
So-
just-
So 12 cups of coffee is $100.
This is a $10 or $11 cup of coffee.
And this is a 7-ounce bag, and you had 3 of these.
Wow.
So not even half a pound for each one. That's crazy. Normally.
Well,
12
it's like,
to
and
20.
Matt, you said that this was the actually in the wild because there is the controversy about these guys that have these poor animals that they do just like cows and stuff, where they put them in captivity and force feed them, and then they force poop them and whatever it is.
So this is not a vegan product.
Oh, well, this.
It's debatable.
So Matt said you researched it, and you said you got the ones that were from the actual ones in the wild.
They come with a certificate of authenticity.
They're free range.
Free range pooping.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh my goodness. Okay, I feel better about it then.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Somebody said, "Are you guys that bored?"
Well, we need to get on with why we actually got this video today.
Yeah.
Oh, you haven't gotten there yet.
No, we haven't
Okay,
gotten
I'll
to the
leave
game.
guys
You
to
should
it.
go look in the other room.
All right,
It's kind of magical in there right now. All right.
I'm keeping our poor dog warm right
All right.
now. She's cold.
All right.
All right,
Thanks
see
for
you guys.
drinking the crap,
Yeah.
babe.
Thanks for leaving it over for us. Wow, it is tasty.
Yeah, it's really
I
good.
can't get rid of that story.
It's good.
I can't get
Stories. Well, we don't want me to do.
Oh.
We debated whether we should do it that way or not, but okay. And that's what you're doing when you walked in.
Really?
Show them our white balance.
Oh yeah, the white balance. Just the white
When we
balance
white
card.
balanced.
The white balance card.
Oh. I couldn't figure out why you were doing that in the middle of a live shoot.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was.
All right. So basically we're here today. So sorry, Jeff. But come on, it's all good. I'm drinking it. I drank it
You did,
first.
all right.
Yeah. All right. Here we go.
That's weird.
All right,
That's
so-
weird.
So the government shut down, and now I'm in my mid 50s, and Matt, you're in your mid 40s, and Jeff, you're in your mid 40s.
No, I'm in 50s.
You are?
Yeah, just
Okay.
a few
A
years
little
younger.
bit younger than me.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's like ding, ding, ding.
Yeah.
So, we're talking about the government shutdown. What the heck do you do? And Fortnite is apparently a great thing to play, and I've never done it. I really want to. I just don't have time. I don't want to get involved in a video game. I got involved in Myst back in the early 90s when I didn't have a wife and kids, and I mean, that place, I immersed myself in that game. And if you drop me on the Mist Island right now, I'd know everywhere to go. I know every nook and cranny of that place and all the different islands and the ages. Anyway, and then when I was filming a movie, and I don't want to like doing video games because you get sucked into them and you can't put them down and I get nothing else done, and I become obsessed. When Halo, I can't remember which version, I was doing the movie Dinner for Schmucks, and when you're filming a movie, you are stuck in the trailer for hours on end, or just stuck just waiting. And so I had my bus there. My bus was my trailer, and I said, "What the heck?" And I got my which game platform was it? I don't remember. And I played Halo all the way through.
Through the movie?
The video game.
Yeah.
So through the making.
Like during the making of the movie.
How many weeks it was? All right.
Wow.
But besides video games, what did we do as kids our ages? There was no internet. There was no. There were a few video games like Pong and that kind of thing.
Right.
So it wasn't until I got into college where there was Atari and everybody got tunnel carpal syndrome from that. But when I was a little bitty kid, obviously when you're a tiny child, this was the default game. It still is. It's Candyland. This was my Candyland when I was a little kid. I was a good little kid. I didn't color on stuff and tear things up. but there've been how many versions of Candyland? I don't know.
So they still
Yeah.
make it, yeah.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, that's the actual your actual game from being.
Yeah, from whatever year. Yeah, I was really good with these games. So I loved Candyland. It was just a lot of fun. So that's what you play with a tiny little kid. I can't wait for my boys to get a little older to Candyland. The other one that I actually liked more than Candyland was Shoots and Ladders.
Oh, yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at the artwork.
But that's an early artwork.
Yeah, early.
Yeah.
Well, I'm 10 years older than you, man.
Oh, there you go.
But for ages
Wow.
4 to 10, let's see, ages 4 to 8, apparently, okay, whatever. All right, so 4. I've tried to sit down with the boys at age 3 years and 2 months, and it's like, no, they're not ready yet. But, and then another one, Matt said, you remember this? This wasn't a game. I just loved this thing as a kid. Matt, you and I are all about faces.
Yeah.
Because you were into masks, and I was building dummies, and Jeff would just make the faces.
Right.
There it is.
There it is. But I love this thing because it was
wow.
like every different feature. This is a remake, by the way. I got this off eBay not long ago. But it's like every different, this is the eye block, and you can change his eyes, and every different feature on the face.
You know why I know that
Oh,
game?
wow.
I remember this game being in like the doctor's waiting room
Oh.
or the dentist's waiting room. That's where I know this came from.
Oh, that's a great idea. Yeah. So anyway, you change all these features, and I don't know why I liked this as a kid, but I thought it was just laugh out loud funny. So there you go.
Cool.
All right, there's Jeff Rothman, ladies and gentlemen.
He
All
has
right.
more hair.
But then as we got into the late 60s and early 70s, there were other fun games and toys to play with. We've done videos on toys, but one of the ones that this is not mine, it was Poppin' Hoppies. I showed that side because that's the real color. This is all faded. But Poppin' Hoppies was this ridiculous game where you set out this vinyl mat and you set out this vinyl mat, and then everybody takes their Poppin' Hoppies and smooshes them down. Hold on. See, Matt, see if I can get this going here. Put it over here. One here.
Oh, crap.
And you put them on that board, and then you smoosh them down. So I don't know how long these are going to take, but let's see if I can do this. If you do this, and then stand back. Oh, wait a minute. Whoa. Okay, and then you wait. Oh. And then you have to catch them. And then we have to wait for the blue one. I'll have my coffee while we wait. Hey, then you're supposed to catch them. So those are Poppin' Hoppies, and you caught them, and you built a puzzle. It was stupid. All right. So, Matt, these were kind of the lame games when we were younger children. But as I got into the late 60s and early 70s, the games got much more interesting. Wouldn't you call it that?
Yeah, I think they were looking for new ideas.
Yeah, and technology was there, so you could get beyond just the simple board games. And by the way, Jeff,
Yeah.
I want you to take this home as a
souvenir.
yeah, as a parting gift.
Thank you.
we should sell them. We should sell them on eBay.
Thank you, yeah.
All right,
Wow.
Matt, bring your coffee.
Well,
All right, so we're gonna go in the other room, and we have the dining room table full of games that I played with as a kid and I love. So I want to show you the first game here, and this is called Hide and Seek. This was not a big popular game, but somebody gave it to me. I think my grandmother gave it to me, and I love the graphics on this thing. The graphics on these games are just great, the boxes and stuff. But basically, this game is just what it is. It's called Hide and Seek. And I don't know, I haven't read the instructions in a long time. But basically, you got all these hiding places, and somebody would hide one of the little players under, and he was it, right? I guess a parent would have to come in and do it or something. And then you just roll the dice, and everybody goes however many spaces to whatever. There's a trash can, there's a package, there's a wood pile, there's a doghouse, mailbox. And you just go to these different places and you look to see. And Matt, you said you hid one of the guys under here.
I did, yeah.
I don't know where he is. But here's the thing about this game for me. I was an only child. I'm a horrible loser. A terrible, terrible loser. And we'd sit down with my parents and maybe a grandparent or a cousin and play this. And I would get so angry because I would lose. And it was terrible. And what I learned from that is what my parents would do. It was they would let me win, and that's the worst possible thing you can do as a parent. Let the child lose. Teach him to lose. Because my entire life I've been a horrible loser. Even in this game, to this day, I can't play games. Even with Audrey, it's like I don't want to play games because I can't lose. I'm getting a little more mellow as I get older, Well, you guys know when we did my bachelor party and we went to
Vegas?
do the carts.
Oh yeah, the go-karts.
The go-karts.
Oh, yeah.
Man.
I don't think anybody left without a bruise that
Oh,
day.
I ended up at the
Bruce,
doctor.
Do you
Yeah.
remember my business manager John Power T-boned me?
Oh yeah.
Do you remember? I mean, I
Yeah.
felt like I'd been hit by a linebacker.
Yeah.
And it made me so angry. And do you remember what I did?
No.
I offered $20 to the first guy
Oh.
who would T-bone
Got
him
him.
out of the track.
Yeah.
I just remember lapping Rothpan like 30 times and like,
Oh, yeah.
What happened?
yeah.
crashed and
You were
broke a
driving.
rib.
You had your signal on. That's what.
Oh, yeah. I broke a rib. No, I was going slow. And I hit all these tires.
I almost broke a rib too. That was
Really?
crazy.
Yeah.
It was nuts.
I'm surprised they let us do that.
Oh, I know it was. Nuts.
But I was trying to T-bone John, and I just.
Yeah, I was mad.
T-boned
I was
myself.
mad at John for weeks after that. He took me out, man. So anyway, this game taught me through and through that I'm a horrible, horrible loser.
So my quick big
And
question.
don't make fun of my sports team. If the Cowboys lose, do not make fun of me. I will be your enemy for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
But you know what? I will say it.
Somebody's at the
Somebody's at the
door.
door. Hold on.
Somebody's here to play shoots and
Oh, I think
ladders.
she's getting it. Somebody's getting it.
Okay, okay.
All right.
But the good part about being a horrible loser is who is it that said, "Show me a good loser and I'll show you a loser."
Oh yeah.
I don't know.
Yogi Berra or somebody.
It was the coach.
Gipper.
No, I don't remember. But that made me unbelievably competitive. So being a poor loser means you're really competitive. So I really think that's part of the drive that kept me and keeps me going and keeps this stuff happening. Am I wrong, Matt?
No,
Right.
no. I think you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Right.
The best thing for business is a little competition. Because if you get fat and happy and sit on top and there's nobody knocking at your door, you're gonna get fat and happy. All right. Anyway, enough of the philosophy. Yeah.
I just want to say one thing about this game that's really interesting. It's like, why would you play a board game of hide and seek when you could just go play hide and seek?
Oh, yeah.
That's a really good question. Maybe that's why I got fat and happy as a kid.
It's like for kids who lived in like an apartment, maybe.
That's really fun.
Like New
I
York.
don't know. We did not play this thing much because I hated it because I would always lose. But that's a really good question. I just think the game's kind of cute. I mean, it was.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, you're right. Why would you do that? I was an only child. Man, I was an only child. I couldn't play hide and seek by myself.
So your mom would come and hide the little guy, and then you would try to find it. Roll the dice until you find it.
That's
That's
the
right.
saddest thing I've ever heard. All right, let's move on. Now we want to move on to something that, I mean, this game, to me, was one of my favorite toys as a child. And it's one of those games that you can play by yourself as an only child. Because it's basically this big giant puzzle. But Mousetrap was a hugely popular game starting in the early 60s. And this game, I think Mousetrap came out in 63. I may be completely off.
That sounds close.
This came out in 64. So, Ideals, who did Mousetrap?
Oh, Hasbro maybe?
Was it Hasbro, Milton Bradley? I don't know. But Ideal
Mattel?
was a toy company that I loved. Because Ideal to me was like the Apple, the early Apple of games back then. Because they weren't toys. They weren't as big a company when it came to toys, but they had really cool stuff. So the Crazy Clock game was Ideal's answer to Mousetrap. And basically what this was, it's just this ridiculous thing where everybody got cards and they were numbered cards, and it's basically just putting together this giant puzzle of a contraption. And then the ending card was you got to wind the clock. And the wind the clock would make this thing start happening. So I built this thing just a few minutes ago before we started, and we're going to try it and see if it actually works the first time. Right?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Okay, and what's great about this is they must have realized that it was kind of a lame thing, that it wouldn't work every time, because then it says, the very end instruction says, the player that winds the clock, if it doesn't complete the cycle, then the next player gets to do it, and if it completes it, then you reset it, and he gets to do it. So that's, you know what I mean? It doesn't work every time, but let's see if we can get it to work. And if it doesn't work, I will encourage it.
And do you know what a device like this is called? Do you know the?
No, as I'm sitting there trying to remember that name, what is it called?
It's a Rube Goldberg.
Yeah,
Oh,
because
yeah.
that guy designed that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It-
a Rube Goldberg, and was he the one that designed Mousetrap?
maybe I don't know.
We should look this stuff up.
Yeah,
before
we
we-
can. Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Before
yeah.
we start shooting.
Well, but that's why we have a comment section. Maybe somebody knows the answer to
That's
that.
Somebody
why we
look that
have
up.
Coffee too. It doesn't matter.
Because somebody immediately, when we said, "Do you know who?" somebody popped up Rube Goldberg on the screen. Yeah.
Okay. I knew that at one time because we've discussed this, but
Oh, somebody said Rube Goldberg was a female. I thought. We might learn something really
Rube-
interesting.
Oh, wow.
Was it a woman?
Maybe.
Was it Ruby? No,
Rube Goldberg.
All right, I have Google in my pocket, but we're in the middle of a video.
It all
All
depends.
right, let's watch and see if
It all
this
depends
works.
what parts you have. Yeah.
So Matt, you guys were impressed when I put this together. I didn't look
Yeah.
at the instructions. I just sat
Yeah.
down and boom, put this whole thing together. How many parts are there?
Yeah.
It's a bunch.
That's
That's a
bunch,
boatload
yeah.
of parts. All these little. Let's point out what everything is
I
before
think
we
there's
go.
22.
Oh, you're right. There's more than 20. No, it does 22 things.
Oh.
So there's more parts than 22.
Wow,
Yeah.
okay.
So look, Matt, let's go through this real quick. Again, this was hours and hours of fun for me as a kid. You know what? This is actually not mine. This is not mine. I got this one off eBay. Mine, I actually painted the clown.
Oh, wow.
I painted his face.
How fun would that be?
Yeah, and if you look at this thing, this is so intricate. If somebody took this thing and actually detailed it and painted everything the way it's supposed to be, it would be a beautiful piece of artwork.
It absolutely would.
Yeah, I mean, look at all these parts. Okay, so here you wind the clock. Here's the key back here. That's the final piece. The final piece is you put the key back here and you wind it. And when you wind it, this thing is supposed to hit the broom, which then hits the cat. The cat lets go of its a ball of yarn, which is a marble. The ball of yarn, goes down the stairs, opens this door, hits this umbrella, trips the umbrella, which starts the rolling feet. The rolling feet come down the ramp, then hit the golf ball, which is a marble. The golf ball goes down the gutter, then hits the golf club, which lets go of the flying pajamas. Can you see the flying pajamas over here?
I can.
And there's a spring down here. The flying pajama comes up, hits the bottom of the bird. The bird lets go of the steel ball, which is the bird's egg. It goes in the bucket. The bucket then dumps over into the pool table. The egg then rolls down the pool table, hits the do not disturb sign. The do not disturb sign moves, and then the candle hits the clown's or the old man's feet, burns his feet, and he pops out of bed.
All right.
Let's see if it works. And again, if it stalls anywhere, and I'm going to guess 2 places that it will stall. Ready?
But here's a question though. What's the game? I mean, is it just to set it up and to do it, or is there
The game is to just set it up card by card by card. Each one is a piece. Like here's number 1. You set down the first base, right?
Oh.
Then number 2 is you put the alarm clock in.
So assembly is part of the.
Part of the
Yeah,
game.
assembly is the game. And then number 3 is you put the broom on there, right? It depends on who has what card.
okay.
It's just stupid.
Oh, wow.
So
It's
then-
hardly a game. It's just building it.
Yeah, it's just building it. But then
Right,
the
but that's
end
cool.
of the game, let's see if I can find the end card, is... Oh, it's whoever has the crazy clock game, the crazy clock card at the end. I think you have to draw cards back and forth. I don't
Oh,
remember.
okay.
But the very last one is the key, and you wind the
Yeah.
key.
Okay, so Rube Goldberg was an American cartoon. Oh, I just went away.
Oh.
American cartoonist who drew in it. I guess this sort of thing.
Oh, they drew the
Oh.
stuff. It didn't necessarily have to work. He just drew it.
Oh,
Yeah.
Let's see if this works. And the
Alright.
yard guys are here. This is why we always do videos on Thursdays, because the yard guys show up.
Perfect for sound.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Let's see if this
Here we
works.
go.
And again, if it does, here are the places it's going to stall. The places it usually stalls. Ready? Show it, Matt. It usually stalls right here. Sometimes the door doesn't open far enough to get the feet started, or the golf ball isn't heavy enough to hit the golf club to trip the pajamas.
And was this something that you remember from a kid? Were these always the kind of sticky
Those were
points?
always the places that I went. Right.
Yeah.
But every once in a while, and again, I would play this by myself. It was just so sad. All right, ready? Here we go. Gonna wind the clock.
All right, here we
Watch
go.
this. Here we go. Here we go. Winding the clock, pulls back the broom. This hits the broom. Ooh, there we go. There goes the ball of yarn. Opens the door.
Oh!
It missed. So I will trip the umbrella. I was right.
Yep.
There go the feet, hitting the golf ball. Ready? Hits the golf ball down the gutter. Oh! I told you. That's the 2 places. All right. So we'll do it again. You got to watch this carefully. Watch carefully. I'm going to hit the golf club. It's going to go fast now. Boom. And bing!
Oh.
And there he is.
Wow.
So there you go. Every once in a while, you can get the whole damn thing to work. That's the crazy clock game. And we talked about the name.
The name.
Yeah, he's just sitting around. Jeff brought this up.
Yeah.
Really? That's all you can come up with? The crazy clock game? Mousetrap makes sense because it's a mousetrap. You think the guys were sitting around the boardroom going, "What is it?" Ah, it's a clock, and
It's
it's
crazy.
crazy. It's a game.
That's a crazy clock game.
Crazy. That's it. Good point, Jeffrey.
Thank you.
All right, so Matt, your vote. We got 3 more to go, and they get weirder and creepier. Where are we going?
Oh, hold on. I would just, yeah. So we were right about Rube Goldberg. Sorry, I was just reading someone's post about
What?
the cartoonist who drew all kinds of stuff. He was also an inventor, but he was sort of known for drawing these cockamamie like devices that would do these sorts of things.
All right. And by the way, I liked this way more than Mousetrap because it did more stuff, and when you could get it to work, it was an achievement.
Oh, wow.
I would,
Well, that's
as
cool.
a kid, I would lubricate things on the game. I would, it was.
Well, you had your Dremel out a little earlier. Let's be.
I
Let's
did, because this one right here, I have my dribble tool out because this is one I got off of eBay not long ago because the box is in better shape than mine as a kid, and yeah, I don't think anyone had ever put this thing together before because there was no way it would have worked.
Wow.
So I had to get out and adjust a few parts to make it work. All right.
So I think just because I know what's on the table, I think I would go there only because the mechanics are not as impressive as there. Do you know what I'm saying?
So are we doing the pin thing last?
I think so.
Okay,
Yeah.
And so we're going to start with the okay. So let me set this up before you show it by saying I had a group of friends that we grew up starting in first grade with Indian guides, and Indian guides back then was a father-son thing, and I think wasn't the girls little princesses?
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know.
Hey, Audrey. No,
Oh.
she was one Indian princess. That's what it was. I think
Okay.
Indian guides was for little boys. I think it was sponsored by the YMCA. I think that's right. I don't remember. But I guess today it's not politically correct.
You couldn't do that.
Couldn't do that today.
Right.
But we were all dressed up like American Indians, and we had our names, and the father-son would have a name. And I was Big Fireball, a Little Fireball, and my dad was Big Fireball. Big Fireball and Little Fireball, right? And I remember, I've talked about this in my book. A friend of mine back during those years was named Scott Poley. And Scott was even as a kid in elementary school, was this great athlete. He could run like heck. So his name was Little Running Feet. His father had been struck by polio. And Mr. Poley, that guy, and ironically the name was Poley and he got polio, but that guy, there was not an adult man that I respected more than Mr. Poley because he was in a wheelchair from age whatever, and it stopped him nothing stopped him. We would go on camping trips and Mr. Poley would be on either his crutches or in a wheelchair. It was unbelievable. Even had his car hooked up to drive it. But this is the sense of humor they have. Scott was Little Running Feet and Mr. Poley was Big Rolling Seat.
Oh, that's awesome.
Is that great? Yeah, it's awesome. I put that in my biography. I love that. Anyway, I haven't seen Scott since, I don't know, high school. Anyway, my point was, we were all kids growing up together, and I was lucky enough to live in the same house, in the same neighborhood, same kids, all the way from first grade through 12th grade. And we would have birthday parties, and of course. And it was a big deal, of course, as it is any birthday party. But I remember Mrs. Phelps. Billy Phelps, his father was a dentist, and they were fairly well off. And Mrs. Phelps asked me at some point what I wanted for my birthday because I was in a party. And I'd seen this game, and I asked for it. And I got it. And then my mother was horrified later when we were at the toy store and I pointed out the game. She was horrified for two reasons. Number one, what the game was, and number two, what the price was, because it was unbelievably expensive. I don't remember how much it was, but it was more expensive than any toy anybody had ever given me before. So, yeah. But she was horrified for that reason, the price, but also what this game was, because I came from a very religious Christian family, and this was not okay. Now, it's not a Ouija board, because Ouija boards that was never going to be in my house whatsoever, right? Mm-hmm. But this game, don't show the actual thing, I'll show the box. This one was called Seance. Now,
I honestly cannot believe that this made it out of the boardroom.
Well, in basic the Judeo-Christian family, Christianity, you don't usually have seances. That's part of the occult, right? So it's not a normal part of things. And anyway, ages 7 to 14. So this had to have been in the early 70s that I got this thing. I was probably 10, 11 years old. But basically, look at this, the voice from the great beyond. And it talks about his uncle. What's the uncle's name?
Oh, it's on the side. It's on the side. Everett.
Oh, yeah, Uncle Everett. So Uncle Everett has basically died. That's the point of this game. He's dead, and you are his family, and you're going back to see what he's left you in the will. But there is no will. Because, let's show this. This is a beautiful game. Look at this thing. So you build this diorama, right? This is the game setup. It's not part of the game. You set it up. So only 4 people can play, and everybody has their own chair at the table, right? And you're each given $20,000, and basically, and one guy is the lawyer, and you start the auction, and so you auction over what the next thing is that Uncle Everett's going to say at the seance, right? So you're calling the dead back, and
What a great game for kids.
it's a great game for kids. So, here's the object:
people.
outwit rich Uncle Everett to win the most money.
Wow. Let's summon some ghosts. But you have to be under 14 years old to do this.
Of course. And
20 grand.
so the point is you're trying to screw your dead uncle.
Who gives a 7-year-old $20,000 and turns him loose in a haunted house?
Right, in a haunted house.
Nice.
So you're screwing your dead uncle and your other relatives to win the most money and the most stuff, right? It's fantastic. And so my mother was horrified for multiple reasons, but I thought this was great. Now, building this whole thing, it's crazy. So, tell me, Matt, tell me it's not a great game.
It's
Look
funny.
Look at the outside of the house. You can see the outside of the house. It's this lovely home.
Wow.
This is the first time I've actually seen what was in the box. You showed me this box, and I couldn't believe it was a thing. And now that I see the thing, I really can't believe it's a
Yeah,
thing.
but we haven't gotten to the coolest part yet.
No, not at all.
How do you think Uncle Everett talks? Does anybody know? How do you hear? Now, there's nothing digital back then. This was the early 70s. You know what I mean? There was digital stuff, but not for general public.
You mean you don't have to set up some candles and draw a circle and blood on the floor? That's not how this game works.
That's what we do now. But, so here's how you heard Uncle Everett. Now, this is really difficult to hear, but this table right here, the dining room table, is actually the player. Hold on. Let's see if we can hear him. How do I activate it? This way. Oh, hold on. So if you couldn't understand that, it was like, okay, it's a little old. It has a belt, but it said, get the art. Let's try one more time. See if we can understand it. Hold on. Okay, one more. Here, I finally figured it out. Hold on, one more. Here we go. Okay, this is stupid. All right, so I'll show you why this is so goofy. So basically, what it was when you do that, he would tell you to take an article of something if you've been a good relative, and look over here, Matt. Over here in the trunk, you could open up the trunk, and you could take one article from the trunk, and inside. Oh, I've already broken the trunk. Inside the trunk were his precious. I've broken the trunk. But all these different things. You can get an antique clock, a Rolls Royce, his
coin
money
collection.
coin collection, or a ship model.
Oh,
And
cool.
anyway, so there's that. I can put the trunk back. Okay, boo, I broke it. Or you can get the jewelry off the mantle. There's 3 different pieces of jewelry. And then the one that made no sense is the stocks and bonds are apparently under the table. You get the stocks and bonds. But
That's not where you keep your stocks and bonds?
like where Rhodey poops. And then we make it into coffee. Anyway, so here, look at this, Matt. But the technology of the day was like so. I mean, they were getting there, but look at this closely. Watch.
Yeah, there's some people that are guessing that it's a tape in there.
No, look, it's better. It's a record player.
Wow.
It's a stinking little record player. Hold on. Get this off of there. Yeah. So there's the record, a plastic record, and there's 2 parts to the game, and you'd flip the record over, and yeah. So I'm gonna try. I swear. I want to make this work.
It sounds like James Earl Jones mumbling.
It does.
Yay!
I heard that one. Take your money back and always remember your...
old
Yeah, it
uncle.
does
Yeah.
sound a little like James. what's his name? James Earl
James
Jones.
Earl Jones?
But like from Darth, almost sounded like Darth Vader a little bit. Little Darth Vader?
Okay.
No? All right, never mind.
All right, fine. Anyway, so that's Seance. All right. And again, my mother was horrified. I think she got rid of this game as fast as she possibly could. Again, I got that one off eBay. All right, now let's move on. And again, this was Milton Bradley. And we moved on to a game that I never got, that I wanted to have, but my mother absolutely refused to let me get it because it was just as bad as Seance, if not worse. Now, my parents went on their honeymoon to somewhere in Europe when they got married in 56, 54, I don't remember. But they had friends that would travel the world. And the Lipscombs, Jim and Barbie Lipscomb, Mr. Lipscomb died years ago, but they brought back something for my parents that I thought was the coolest thing ever. I've never told you this, Matt. It was the head of a sarcophagus. It was the actual, and it was this big. It was the chopped off the head of the sarcophagus of some actual tomb from ancient Egypt.
Holy moly.
It was unbelievable. And that was when the grave robbers would go in and chop everything up and sell everything. So it was literally from here up. It was a legit thing. I thought it was the coolest thing ever. She put it in the house, and for years she hated that thing because she thought it was evil. And then one time when I went off to college, I came back and I went, "Where's the mummy?" And they sold it. So, and again, the sarcophagus, the coffin, not the actual head of the guy.
Right.
So she just thought all that Egyptian stuff, again, was just evil, evil, evil. And so this game, I wanted this, and she would not have it. But look at it right here, Milton Bradley's Voice of the Mummy, and it's the same thing. And our sarcophagus looked just like that from here up. We had it in the den family room for years and years and years in a plastic case, whatever you call it, acrylic, in an acrylic case to keep it from the weather getting to it. I gotta find pictures of it. It was great. So wouldn't let me have this game, but I thought it was really cool. And again, when I started collecting my toys from childhood, I went back on eBay and I found this thing, and I found a guy that was restoring these things. Now he's made, and again, it's Milton Bradley. Show it again. It's Milton Bradley, so it's the exact same technology as the other thing, but it's the crypt, so, or the whatever. So, and the point of this one, Matt, you read about it. I never played this game, but the whole point is everybody has one of these. Right?
Yep, that's right.
Is that where you put your jewels?
You put your jewels in there, yeah.
Okay, so
Collect the
these are
most jewels.
you collect the most jewels. Here are the jewels, and so when you get a jewel, you put them in your little thing. And here's a little person, and whoever that guy is.
Oh,
Matt, it looks like you.
Oh, yeah. I need to get some shorts.
Wait a second.
Some shorts.
Hold
No.
on a second. Hold on. Let's see. Yeah, it's pretty close.
I left my helmet.
yeah, those shorts. I know.
And the shorts. Those are not your legs, though.
Those thigh boots. What's going on there?
You always wear high socks.
He does. All right. Let's listen to this one more time. Oh, but anyway, yeah. So the little jewels around, and it's just again a beautiful game. But hold on, here we go. Wow, did you hear the sound effects in the background?
Yeah, it's like
Howling in the
wailing
background?
ghosts.
Great. All right, now we move on, and again, my mother must have been horrified by the games that came out. I never thought about this, but 3 games that she was just like, ugh. She loved hide and seek. That's what I.
Yeah, shoots and ladders.
But this one, Matt, this one even dumbfounded you.
Yeah, this is the weirdest of the bunch, I think.
Yeah, but I think the box artwork is way worse than the game.
Absolutely.
So what do we show first?
Creepy.
I think you show the box artwork
All right,
first.
we'll show the box. But this one, and again, talk about satanic or whatever. Somebody gave me this, and my mother was absolutely horrified. So the voodoo game, right? And I love this little guy. There's the witch doctor, and I love this right here. Deborah is somewhere. Again, I got this off eBay. My mom trashed mine. And by the way, games like this, she wouldn't give them away. She would trash them. And I'm sure mine did end up into the trash one day when I was in school and came back and didn't realize it was gone for a few days, a couple of weeks. Anyway, so here's the game, and this game is only for 2 people. But it's for boys and girls.
Right, that
The mysterious voodoo doll holds the key that keeps the witch doctor from leaping free. All right. So again, I don't know how exactly this worked, but here is literally the linchpin right here, the linchpin to the entire game. So somebody would take this pin and look down here, Matt, and put it. Maybe a parent would have to come in, or somebody else would put it somewhere. Let's not forget where it is. I'm going to put it right there. Okay, you put that pin in one of the holes in there, and you can't see it. Nobody knows where it is, right? So then you have your game pins. Look at your plastic pins right here. Everybody has the voodoo pins, right? And so the gameplay goes that everybody starts putting pins in the poor voodoo doll guy or whatever he is, right? And again, how cool would this be to paint this face up and make it look right?
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Face. Ooh.
So you keep doing this, and then, you don't know where the pin is, but then you come across the pin. Now watch carefully. There's the witch doctor's hut. Come over this way, Matt. Come over this way. Okay, so there's the witch doctor's hut. If you put the pin in the wrong hole, are we ready? Here's what happens. Push it down, and... There's the witch.
Jeez.
Wow, that's pretty terrifying. That's the point where the boys and girls go crying to mom.
Yeah.
That's right. Wow.
So that's the voodoo hut.
And the object is not to hit
The
that.
object is not to hit the voodoo doctor. You lose when the voodoo
Whoa.
doctor flies out of the hut. So those are the games that twisted me as a child. Yeah. All right.
Well, it worked.
Oh, and of course I'm screwing up my own kids by having an aquarium with a dead terrorist in the middle of it.
It's funny. There's been a lot of people in the comments mentioning this aquarium.
Yeah.
As we've been walking around in this room.
The big fish are hiding right now. They don't like when we're in here making all this noise. So anyway, yeah, there's Ahmed and Peanut and Walter. Somebody asked me the other day, do the fish eat Peanut's hair? Because Peanut used to have hair.
Oh yeah, what happened to Peanut's
what
hair?
happened?
Oh, I ate it.
Did it have hair?
Yeah. Anyway, this was on an episode of Tanked when they built this for me, and this is supposed to be a stage, lovely stage curtain, and they're on the stage underwater, and then there's my trunk over there with my name on it that Walter's sitting on. Yay, fun.
Cool.
Yeah, and fish. It's saltwater. All right. So what did we learn today, Matt and Jeff?
That
I don't want a second cup of coffee. I'll tell you that right now.
One of my favorite things on YouTube is those old the 50s and 60s coffee commercials.
Oh, those are the
they're
best.
so chauvinistic, horrible. The guy's like, the husband's like in the kitchen and goes to the woman, "Your coffee's horrible." And then she's like, "Oh, I'm a failure as a wife."
that's probably how this
pretty bad.
this kind of coffee came about. The wife was like, "I'll show you."
I'll be in the backyard.
Guess
I'm in a minute.
Yeah, that's where I got these beans from.
Yeah. Come here, Rhodey.
Good Lord.
They got us back.
So there you go.
That's
Anybody
so
have any
cool.
questions? Any more comments?
Yeah, let's. Why?
Here, take a look at our Christmas tree. We haven't shown this to anybody.
Oh.
We love this tree. We left all the Christmas decorations up just to do this video. We're getting ready to take everything down.
Aw.
But yeah, honestly, this is the prettiest Christmas tree we have ever had. Got it lightly flocked. Just
Oh, it's
beautiful.
nice.
Yeah, it's great. Too bad we're Jewish. Jeff's Jewish.
That's right.
Yeah, so far.
So far,
Yeah. I'm trying it out.
trying it out, taking it for a test drive.
Yeah. We'll see.
You want the 8 days, not the 1.
That's right. That's right.
Is it 8 or 7?
Yeah, you got 8 days of Hanukkah.
Is it 8? 8,
Yeah, 8.
Yeah, great.
Yeah.
All right.
So while we maybe wait for somebody to have a question, when are you going back out on the road?
Well, I was on the road last week. Oh man, it was 4 shows, and we ended up New Year's Eve in Chicago. It was fantastic. I was fighting the worst. One of the boys gave me a cold, and I was right at the tail end of it, and that's when the voice starts to go. But I got through it, and it was great. The audiences were fantastic, and now we're back on the road on
Next Wednesday,
Wednesday.
you're headed out.
Toronto, I think.
I think you're right.
Where?
I
Toronto?
think you're going to Canada.
Am I?
Yeah.
Yep, Toronto on Wednesday, Cleveland on Thursday, Friday is Milwaukee, Saturday the 12th is Champaign, Illinois, and the 13th, Sunday, is Highland Heights, Kentucky.
Somebody just asked, how's the new character coming along?
The new character is going great. We've talked about him, right?
A little bit, yeah.
A little bit.
Okay. So I might as well talk about it now, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
And for anybody that's seen you live in the last little bit, have you tried him out on stage yet? Have you been doing?
Been doing him in every single show, and he's going great. It's something that I've never seen done before. But obviously, Larry, the Trump advisor, has been in the show for a little while. He's going great. People love him. He's just goofy, crazy. and stressed out, completely stressed out. 'Cause what a job they have. No matter what side of the aisle you're on, that's a tough job being Trump's advisor, personal advisor, helping with tweets.
Oh my God.
Then the new guy. Have I even said what he is on camera? I don't think I have.
I don't think so. I
Might
just
as well- might as well talk about it.
Oh, cool.
He's actually here.
really.
Really?
We're gonna do that.
Oh,
Well,
Let's
I mean-
save that for another day.
Okay.
okay.
When we get a little closer, we'll set that up. But basically, the new guy, our country is divided, completely divided. And as a comedian, it's tough. You pick a side, you start losing fans, you start gaining fans. It's really tough. You don't want to pick a side. I like it the way Carson and Leno did it, where they made fun of both sides a little bit, and it kept everybody laughing, and it was safe to see the show. You're not going to be completely insulted. So I try and do the same thing. I'm not picking sides, but I'm making fun of everybody, including myself. So this new character, I thought he has to be divided, and he is truly divided. And this new dummy is a conjoined twin, and their names are. It's a two-headed dummy, and both heads work at the same time. It's some kind of mechanical magic that I spent months on, right, Matt?
Oh man.
Yeah. And so they both work, and different voices, completely different personalities. One is completely left, one is completely right, and they hate each other. And it's the same body, two heads, and their names, of course, are Richard and Happy. So they're rich and happy. And it's been going over really, 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 really well. And it's a work in progress, but I love doing that, and people like it. And
Yeah, get tickets and go see it.
yeah, you gotta add tickets to go see it. And so, yeah, so there you go.
And-
And go to jeffdunham.com. It's the best place to buy tickets. Other places scalp like hell, but our tickets are always priced competitively with any other shows. I think they're somewhere like $60, 50, 60, 70 bucks, depending on where you are in the arena. So there you go. And we're averaging 8, 9, 10,000 people a show. Yay, fun.
And I'm getting questions about a new special. Is there any news on that?
Oh, we're going to be announcing the new special very, very soon. Where we're going to be taping it, it's going to be a big, fun surprise. And we're taping it, and it'll be out this fall.
That's right.
Yep. So there you go.
All right.
And again, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. And thanks for joining us on this fun video with all my goofy games from my childhood and our crap coffee.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah. Thanks for being a good sport, Jeff.
That's okay.